Welcome to episode 67 of Schmovie.
You got it right at the beginning.
My name is Ronald. Hello.
My name is John. Hello.
My name is Steve. Hello.
And we are the Schmovie guys.
We should have done like a harmony there. Yeah.
like the Stooges. Hello.
I think we tried that once before.
We did. It didn't go so well.
You know, I thought that was horrible, and it was before I knew that Steve was a musician. So I should have been.
What are you talking about? You're a musician too, John. It should have been.
No, but I thought like. Well, but
I got you. I got you. So 2/3 of us should have known.
Yeah,
better.
2/3 of us. Yeah. It wasn't just. Yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
And he's the one with the silky pipes. You know,
the silky smooth voice.
Oh boy.
That was horrible.
Have you ever tried to record a slow jam?
No, I really should try.
Yeah.
I really should try. I should try.
That would just be basically recording his everyday conversation.
Right.
Yep.
You have an app on your phone. You could just.
I could just the voice memo it.
You know what you should do? Side business opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, get people to pay you to record their voicemail message.
Oh man, that'd be
incredible.
incredible.
There's a market out there for that. One of the big things on the Veronica Mars Kickstarter was Kristen Bell recording voicemail messages.
Right. Can you really distinguish her voice from anybody else's voice?
I don't know, but
I feel like if I heard
I'm sure she's going to say like, "Hi, this is Kristen Bell,"
right.
Or "This is Veronica Mars."
Yeah,
right.
And who is this Veronica bitch?
Yeah.
What's she doing on my boyfriend's phone? That could be a really awkward situation.
Instant breakup.
Yeah. So this episode's kind of like one of our interesting themed episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have like a feature review per se this week. You know, last week we talked about the Evil Dead remake and Room 237. But this episode, what we did, we kind of John kind of came up with this idea, which was to basically talk about some movies that I guess for all intents and purposes we were supposed to love these films from friends' feedback, general feedback, reviews, whatever it might be. And but unfortunately, when we saw them, we just couldn't agree with the consensus.
Especially if it's something like, given your taste and given the type of movie that you like, sometimes there's movies
yeah.
And, you know, sometimes you get excited about them and then you're disappointed. And other times, as Steve said, it's the hype that makes you think, okay, well, I guess I finally need to give this movie, you know, a consideration. And then then you watch it and you feel all alone out on a limb.
And the more I thought about some of these movies, because I don't know, I had some trouble coming up with a list. I have my list and I'm pretty okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I had trouble coming up with it was because because I'm guilty of this a lot, and to myself and to my friends, which to all of you I apologize. It's that I think that sometimes when I would classify a film in this category, it almost might be because of the hype, simply because of it. Like it's basically there's no way that movie is going to deliver on what everybody else has built it up to be. And you know, like I said, sometimes I might build a film up to you, Ron, and you go see it, and you're like, why did you build it up so much? Or like I was concerned that I was doing that by how much I was raving about like Silver Linings Playbook or something like that. You know, those kinds of situations.
Or The Gray.
Exactly. Thank you, John. But I mean, so some movies I left off of this list only because I feel like it might have been just a hype monster that just killed this film. But I don't know. I'm pretty okay with it. None of mine are sexy choices, but
Really?
Yeah, I felt like my list, I think that sometimes you want to look at this type of topic as like someone who's a film aficionado. And it means if you're a film aficionado, you're sort of aware of the real feelings that a lot of people have about films, like you rather than like the mainstream reaction. And I think in a way my list is more reactive to kind of a mainstream concept of what should be successful films. You know, I didn't have as many like personal reasons, but I did find that it was hard to find movies that I honestly disliked across the board that everybody else really loves. You know, most of the time I have this ability to at least see why people would like it. So it's like, it was hard to single a movie like that out to say, it's just not for me. But yeah, there was, and the one movie that I kept wanting to put on the list, but I thought it was just too easy because I don't think anyone actually likes this film, is The English Patient.
Oh my God.
I haven't talked to anybody
that was going to be on my list.
I haven't talked to anybody that actually likes it, but everybody thinks that everybody else likes it. So I think we all just need to get together and we need to finally get everyone to admit in one place that they don't like English Patient. And then the myth of English Patient being a beloved film will just dissipate completely. But
I have a really old one.
Well, do you want to get us started?
Yeah, sure.
All right, Ronald.
1961's Breakfast at Tiffany's. So, all right, this movie, great movie, but there's one thing about it that ruins it for me. Yes. Mr. Yuniyoshi.
The most racist thing ever.
Portrayed by Mickey Rooney. The movie didn't even need this guy in it. Like he could have. It was so. The movie is so good. R.G. Hepburn acting her ass off. It was such a great movie up until he comes and he's there and he's like, "Oh, Miss, oh, you better be quiet." It was too much. Like it was overbearing. It was so racist. So it turned a movie that was really good to me.
Finally, an occasion where it would have been appropriate to have Hugo Weaving in makeup
Right.
playing an Asian.
Playing an Asian man.
And he just wasn't born yet.
Mickey Rooney, man. What the... I like the movie up until that point, but it ruins it for me. It ruins the movie.
It's like that character is piped in from a different universe from the rest of the movie
Right.
too. You know,
That's also the very weird part about it.
but you're right. It's like it's not just that it's offensive, but it's completely unnecessary. It's like there's so many ways they could have avoided doing exactly what they did.
You know what it reminds me of? The only thing that it annoyed me more than was when I was a kid. There was a Dick Tracy cartoon that was, you know, it was like before we were born, but they showed it, you know, in the afternoon. So it's Dick Tracy, this pretty straightforward plot. He's beating up bad guys, and then his assistant was like this super Asian stereotype, really buck-toothed dude, and it was very hard to watch. When I was a kid, he was even hard to watch. I was like, there's something weird about this character. I really don't like it. And Breakfast at Tiffany's is no different. So because of that, just ruined it. So. What about you?
What order are we going in?
I'll go next. I guess the first film I'll mention, the couple of the movies on my list, I'm going to go towards horror because it's one of my favorite genres. And the first one that I'll throw out there is the original. I'll probably get shit for this. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
Yeah. Thank you, John. As predicted.
Yes.
I swear, like I can see into the future. Do you see this? I don't know, and I don't know if this was the unique one, like where I felt like growing up as a kid and not watching it until I was like in my early teens, like just the buildup of people telling me how classic and how great and how like it's the standard and just so many positive things about a genre film like it, and also another movie that's going to be on my list later, but. I just, I didn't identify with the movie at all. I mean, like, I guess I could appreciate what it was. I guess not being alive when it came out and not kind of seeing it in context of what cinema was at that time, I think may change my experience with it. And I mean, to this day, I've tried to watch it multiple times. And, my reaction is kind of always the same. I mean, there are moments, which is not like a negative. And like we talked about this before the show started, John, where you're like, these movies on these lists aren't movies that I necessarily hated. They're movies that I just think I didn't love, like I thought that I would based off of everything else. And I think with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I can watch certain scenes in it, and especially like thinking that some of it's based off of true events and things like that. That itself is a kind of interesting idea. And certain scenes kind of get me, and I definitely can get into them and see why a lot of the audience identified with it or like really enjoyed it as much as they did and kind of hold it in such a high standard. But just not anything that really scared me and that made it seem scary to me watching it. And I mean, that may be because like I grew up more so watching more of like the boogeyman type horror films, like the Nightmare on Elm Streets and the Halloweens and things like that. But something about this real world family of just cannibals and just horrible people, something, it just didn't click with me. And,
well, I mean, horror is sort of, I think one of the reasons why I love the genre, and it reminds me of comedy in the sense that if it's working.
Right.
If a horror movie's not scaring you, it's not working. If a comedy's not making you laugh, it's not working, So it's like, if you are able to intellectualize that movie to the point where you are, but it just is not going, it's just not working its magic on you, then that to me is almost like a definition of a movie you're supposed to love.
That's
but don't,
that's a great way to put it.
But to me, I think it holds up because it almost succeeds as like an art film or something. It's such a weird movie. I mean, and I think that when I saw it on Silver Spring, they played it at the AFI in Silver Spring a few years back. And just seeing it on the big screen, I kind of was expecting to have something like the reaction you had of, now I'm going to see it. I saw it when I was a teenager,
Right.
and I'm going to see it years later, and it's just not going to live up.
Right.
But it still is such a unique film, I think. But I
will give it that. I mean, I would say that it's absolutely unique, especially when
Mm-hmm.
I try to think of it in context. And a lot of people kind of portray it the same way you just said it, is like they kind of view it as like an art film, sometimes more than just a horror film, which, I mean, I can't identify with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I definitely would be able to call it unique.
Well, when I say art film, I just mean the fact that it feels really scrappy and it feels like it feels independent down to the core.
Totally.
And it's so unusual, but it also is so influential. I think that's the other thing that I think is amazing about it. Like, it is such a scuzzy little weird movie that obviously
I
turned
can't
on
argue
a lot
that
of
at all.
people.
No, you can definitely see the influence the movie's had, but just not something that I loved.
Texas Chainsaw Man.
Well, the movie that I'm going to single out, I think this is one of the few on this list that I actively dislike. And it's a film from 1994, and it's a movie that a lot of people really love. And in fact, this is an example of a director that a lot of other people have turned on, and they still tend to point to this film as a successful film. Talking about Clerks from Kevin Smith.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I was not expecting
Does
that.
not do anything for me. Never has. Listening to those characters talk to each other, it reminds me of the people I know that I actively avoid socially, so I don't have to hear them talk the way that they talk. I have never been into the Kevin Smith. I mean, I love, I get together with guys like you, and I love to bullshit about pop culture, and it's like I'm constantly thinking about it in all these ways. But Kevin Smith's approach has just never convinced me for a second. Like I almost put Dogma in this spot because that was another movie that a lot of people just loved, but that I just
like
could
Dogma?
not. I was so. I mean, I went to a midnight show, so it's like you never can be sure if it's really the movie.
Yeah.
But I found it extremely hard to get through. Yeah. So, but I just think I'm not a Kevin Smith guy.
Right.
What is your favorite Kevin Smith film?
Okay, the film that I saw in the theater that I actually kind of liked, but even then it was a qualified like. But Chasing Amy was the one I saw in the
That's my
theater
favorite.
that I actually thought was like kind of funny. And then after that, I was like, I think Dogma was his next film. And after that, I was like, well, I'll check him out now. I'm on board for this. And it just, and I know that a lot of people dislike that movie vehemently because of the kind of sexual politics seem sort of unenlightened compared to our cultural moment of now, which is to say the notion of like someone's sexuality being something that you can sort of like in that movie. Isn't Ben Affleck like he wants to turn her back? Or she's what's the story in that? Like she's bisexual, but he wants to turn her straight. Or it's just the sexual politics of that movie are kind of confused. But I mean, I don't know that I would even enjoy Chasing Amy now. But I think at the time, what I liked was I liked Jason Lee, and I liked at the time too. It was Ben Affleck when I knew him as that guy from Dazed and Confused, and I was like, oh, he's playing a different kind of character in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that movie's aged particularly well, but Clerks for me is definitely one of those that even when people are trashing Kevin Smith, they are saying, well, if only they could all be as good as Clerks, And to me, it's just like that's the foundation of his Kevin Smith empire, and I'm unconvinced by it. So
I'll jump on that bandwagon. I've never been a fan of Clerks either.
no.
Gotcha.
I gotta agree with you.
I mean, it's a cool story that he made it for like $27,000 on his credit card. I think I really wanted to like it.
Sure.
It hit the scene around the same time as Reservoir Dogs, and it was part of that same kind of groundswell of people were talking about these young upstart indie directors. And yeah, Reservoir Dogs definitely won my affections.
Hilarious, because that movie is actually on my list.
Boom. Transition.
Seriously.
This is going to be a more
Let's
interesting
go.
episode than
Let's
we thought.
go.
Yeah.
So
Take that one then.
I love Quentin Tarantino movies, and I had never seen Reservoir Dogs, and I'd seen Pulp Fiction, I'd seen Jackie Brown, I'd seen Four Rooms because he did that one segment.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of people hate that movie, but I thought it was pretty decent. So I watched Reservoir Dogs, and I fucking hated it.
Uh-oh.
I just think that it was sprinkled with too much Quentin in the bad way. So one of the things that is genius to me about Django is that I feel like dialogue wise he found his medium. Same with Inglourious Bastards. Those are the two movies where I felt like the shittiness that can arise from him wanting to be like that, like I'm gonna be unfiltered, say whatever you want, and make these black jokes and do all this shit and talk about pussy and that stuff can be very weird and overwhelming. And this was one of those movies where I felt like the dialogue that he brings to the table didn't work well. It didn't feel fun to me. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like Reservoir Dogs. One of the most overrated movies to me in his catalog. So to me, I don't know a lot of people that like it. So.
Well, I mean, for me, it's still got that memory of that kind of feeling of discovery when I saw it the first time. But I have watched it again in recent years, and I see what you're saying now. I mean, it's very similar in a way to what I was just saying about Clerks kind of being the foundation of that Kevin Smith voice. You're right. You're right. That Quentin Tarantino's like his grubby little fingerprints and his style are just all over Reservoir Dogs, and it does feel a little kind of show offy almost. Like
it does,
but it still works for me. So.
He's good though. Like it's not to say that like this is like piss poor for Quentin. It's not like piss poor for like anybody. Like he is one of the best directors I think in
ever.
In
ever. Is that what you want to say?
Of all time.
In the history of ever times.
But yeah, I think like it's shitty for Quentin. Like it's not you know what I mean? His shitty is better than a lot of people's movies. So that is to say that it is a quality movie that is shitty for him. So I don't know. I didn't like it.
Sorry, Ronald.
Yeah.
All right, my next one is actually going to take an action film now. A more recent action film. That as a movie I had a bit of a personal attachment to when I used to work at my old job, because this is the movie that was made a long time before it ever came out. So you're like, it must be shit. People don't want to see it, or they couldn't find a way to market it, or whatever. It comes out. It's a huge international success, spawning a sequel and making it star a new action star, and that's Taken. The Liam Neeson movie that literally every single one of my friends, and you know who you are if you're listening, rave about this film.
I am one of those people.
You are, and I know you're listening right now. So I was referring to you just now. And it's on TV. Oh, let's watch it. Let's watch this. Taken's on tonight. Like who looks at the TV Guide channel to see when Taken comes on? My friends.
That's a great example, because that is a movie that even people that like don't like Taken 2 or don't like whatever that other movie that Liam Neeson did where he was playing a badass, not the
Unknown.
Gray, not the Gray, which is a great film, but like. You know what I'm saying? Taken is held up as well. It can't be. They can't all be taken. And I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't seen.
And why did they keep taking his?
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
Of all the people, there's a million women.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about Taken. I mean, again, I will probably say this for every film. That
Oddly
I
enough,
choose
Taken
on here.
2 is your favorite film of all time.
Of all time.
In the history of ever.
It's on my other list of movies that people hated but I loved.
Yeah. We will do the flip side one of these days.
We'll flip it over. I don't know. And again, not a movie I think is shitty. I don't. I'll say this about every movie, and I'll be a broken record because I feel like I need to do these films justice because I don't think they're crap movies. But it's, again, I think my perception of, I had thought, okay, if I had been able to see this movie before everyone else told me it was great, I would have been like giving it a low bar, and it probably would have been a movie I loved, because I thought, it's because it was one of those movies that was made years before it came out. It got shelved, pushed around. Being produced by Luc Besson, finally got a release
I didn't even
date.
know that it had that kind of a history.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it just, when it came out, it took off. It blew up. I didn't see it immediately. Should have. And, everybody told me how great it was. Movie, it's okay to me. I like it. It's an okay action film.
Right.
But, I mean, if there is an action movie that I would say in the past, 10 years, that most of my friends will reference as, like, the action movie, Taken. And I can't believe it, because I would just like, there's tons of movies I would put before Taken, but it's just that movie. Like I said, and Liam Neeson is now an action star.
It's that phone call.
Absolutely.
It's the I'm a man with a certain set of skills, and you've fucked up.
It's that scene.
Yeah.
And I will find you.
That's a great
that scene is really cool. I think, there's parts of the movie that I think are fucking awesome, but as a whole, I don't think it has the package that everybody else kind of.
It's really hard to believe
to me.
that he could be able to do the things that he did. Like it's It's like really far fetched. I believe that Chuck Norris could do it before he could do it. So I don't know.
Yeah, so that's mine. Next go. John?
My film, you had Reservoir Dogs, and you had Texas Chainsaw.
Uh-oh.
This is probably going to be
Going to sacred territory here?
My credibility losing reveal will be that I'm not a fan of The Matrix.
What?
What? Shit.
I thought it was good.
Wait, stop recording real quick. I think you said the wrong film.
The one
you
that,
got your list
the one
mixed
that
up.
I'm going to say is probably going to be even worse.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Well, no, I don't know. I might have the.
I
grand-
have
This is the first time we've
Okay,
ever
The
boasted.
Matrix.
We've ever
The
boasted.
Matrix.
In 1999, this movie wasn't on my radar at all. Like I didn't see Bound, so I didn't have at the time a desire to see what the Wachowskis would do next. I just remembered those commercials where they said, "What is the Matrix?" That was like the marketing behind
man.
it. That did not work on me at all. I thought that was the dumbest ad campaign.
Was that
ever.
because you already knew what it was?
Well, I was just like, it was one of those things to me where it was like, oh, that thing I don't care about, that question I don't care about, they just asked. I can avoid this whole thing altogether by just not finding out what the hell they mean. But it's like they were asking, "What is the Matrix?" And I was thinking, oh, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Who wants popcorn? Like it just didn't work on me. And I read somewhere in advertising that advertising slogans built around questions are frowned upon because the audience can answer the question in their own mind.
Oh.
The example that a buddy of mine always used to point out was for a Planned Parenthood type place where the billboard for it said, "Pregnant? ? We can help." Well, what if your answer is no? Then they're like, "We can help." It's like, okay, well, but so like, what is the Matrix? I didn't care, but then everyone was talking about it, and talking about it not just in that way that people talk about a movie they thought was good, but like analyzing, like her name's Trinity, that refers to the Holy Trinity, all these things that just sounded so philosophical and so deep, and it was the hype disease you were talking about. It got so built up. And then when I saw it and I realized it was like technically a really well done movie, but as far as the ideas in it, it did not blow my mind. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of like a simple sci-fi idea of just the brain in the vat, like what if the reality that you're perceiving is not the real physical reality that exists outside your mind? I think that's an interesting concept. I actually have grown to enjoy the movie more as kind of a cable staple over the years. I'm not a huge fan of those kind of gimmicky visual effects that everyone falls in love with. So I sort of blamed bullet time on that movie, the overuse of it. Yeah. I think when I go back to that movie and I see the way it's used, it's got philosophical underpinnings. It's got, like there's a reason for it. I think the Wachowskis are really smart. And I think that they have, I'm always interested to see what they do.
I kind of want to watch it again.
But The Matrix to me was not substantially a better movie than the movies that came after. Like I didn't see it and then see Matrix Reloaded and feel betrayed by that movie. I thought that in a weird way, all they really did that was a mistake was they kind of diluted the simplicity of the idea in the first movie. But it just never had a personal connection to me. And I do think the kind of movie that has characters with names like Neo and Trinity is maybe a little ham-fisted for my tastes when it comes to that kind of thing. Gotcha. It's like any character named something like Hope or Chastity or something like that. You just kind of want to roll your eyes all the way back into your head. But
all right,
but it did give us Hugo Weaving, and for that I'm thankful.
Definitely, he's great.
I love The Matrix.
All right, so
now it's time to rebuild our relationships. Now after that last round,
mine is way worse.
Okay,
so. Do it.
Go.
This movie.
And I will tell you before you say whatever you're about to say, where the door is.
This is the blueprint of every movie that has come out after it. It is ambitious, an empire. It is brave in a lot of ways. And for the life of me,
talking about Tommy Boy.
I've not gotten the whole. What it is I watched it when I was a kid, first and foremost. Before I say what it is, I watched it when I was a kid, and I didn't get it. And because of that, when I hear people talk about it, it's almost like jarring hearing people talk about it. It's like hearing nails on a chalkboard. And I try to be okay about it, and I'm hoping that with what's happened lately, that maybe I'll have a resurgence and I want to go back and watch it.
Say it.
Star Wars.
Oh Oh,
Star Wars.
That is a bigger hit than the Matrix.
Star Wars.
I will give that
Star
to
Wars.
you. Right
So
on.
here's what it is. Here's what it is.
I was
This-
just
this-
thinking the other day that
This show might be going back
how
to
well
two
that
hosts.
holds up. Yeah.
So here's what it is. Here's what it
3 minutes.
and it has to do with my childhood. I actually haven't watched them since I was a kid, so I think I need to go back and watch them now. And I feel like I have them digitally restored and all that stuff. I have them. I've just
You had them digitally restored.
I've-
You put an order in for that to be done. Lucas, go restore these for me.
I have
digitally
acquired
though.
them, and so it's very. It just hasn't.
See, I think the reason why my affection for that movie has only grown is when I go back and I look at it, I don't see any of the bloat that has hit the Star Wars saga since then. Like I don't see any of
Totally.
the sequels and all the it's like it's a self-contained movie that's got
It's a vacuum.
a self-contained story and it like it's fun, it's light. I mean, I think it still holds up, but I will say this, even though my reaction to you saying Star Wars, I know so many people, it seems like in general, it almost seems like a generational thing. Like I know people
I think it is.
I know
I think
people that were too old when Star Wars came out, and so they were already teenagers and they were cynical about it, and they just thought this is for kids, and it never connected. And then I know people who, kind of what you said, it was delivered to them on a platter of this movie is the shit.
Yes.
And if you grew up with that all around you all the time, and everyone's kind of going crazy for it, it's very easy to sort of go, really? This? And like then notice everything that could be kind of corny
But
about it. But I would say
everything
this is
comes
the
from-
rare occasion of a movie where everything that's corny about it almost makes it stronger because that swashbuckling adventure. I can always remember how unique it was at the time.
Yeah.
Now it really doesn't seem like as
Yeah.
much of an achievement to think that
a
someone would have made that type of movie.
and that's I'm not taking anything from it. It's a huge achievement, and everything beyond that point was based on it. But like I guess what
In a lot of bad ways, though, a lot of people point to the kind of Hollywood blockbuster culture that we have now, and the fact that you don't see really intelligent films made for adults all the time. A lot of people look at that. The success of Star Wars is kind of seen as like the death knell of like the serious cinema of the 70s.
It's always been the Trek versus Wars, and what happened is because Star Trek had so many like extensions of it, its legacy was a little different. It could be extended beyond, this movie was amazing that came out 20 years ago. And you have these iterations of it that were done differently, like in like Enterprise and Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. And there were all these different iterations of it where you can see something beyond the original source material that didn't feel so like I felt like the last three that he made were horrific.
Yes.
I mean, the last one.
No.
Because
Let's not.
Because I wanted
not
to
pretend.
see it. They were horrific.
No, I think that yes, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. For those of you out there who don't know the numbers, was a movie that had the benefit of it had all the scenes that we all wanted to see.
Yeah,
when
the
we heard they
connector.
were making the prequels, but I think that gave it a lot of goodwill that it didn't really deserve. Like looking back on it, it's a mess of a film. And Lucas's plan. I'm so glad that whatever happens with that saga is now happening with other writers and directors.
Yeah, I mean,
involved.
I think a lot of it was sullied by all that stuff, and I mean, like I was taking it all in the last three at a point where like my whole perception of movies is starting to build, and those were terrible. And then I when I saw the first three, I was too young to really absorb it for what it really was, and I knew that it was different.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that this was I could tell like that this was what everything else was based off of. You can tell, but I didn't appreciate it at all.
Well, I listened
Not
to a lot
knowing
of
that.
musicians that were
Not
influenced by Elvis or Jerry Lee Lewis or Little Richard, and I don't listen to those guys. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
sometimes you can like the thing that was influenced by the thing without liking the thing.
It's an appreciation for
Yeah.
it more than like. So that's what it is. I felt like crap for not.
No, Ronald, you know what? I think we've turned a corner. This is a place of healing now, because I hope that now you feel better. Because I love that movie, and I totally understand why someone wouldn't like it.
Right,
You know?
it's interesting.
It's a tonal. I mean, that seems to be a huge thing. There definitely is a tonal thing about like if you're locked in from it, then it's got you from the first moment.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then it's just going to look like the 70s. You're going to be like, why in a galaxy far, far away did everyone have that 70s haircut? You know?
I'm very open to seeing it again, though. I am because I haven't.
Well, you
seen
probably
it.
will, whether you want to or not.
Right.
It'll be
Somebody
on
will put it
somewhere.
in front
Yeah.
of me. So
Apparently, if you're hanging out with Steve's friends, it'll be taken. But
No, yeah, don't hang out with
So
us.
Star Wars. I think. Okay, I felt bad about.
no,
It's okay, man.
I think you cleared
It's
the air.
fine. All right, mine.
And you can get out of my house.
my
Bye-bye.
Bye.
my next choice is nowhere near as high profile as your two prior choices, and I will go through it pretty quickly. It is 1998's Shakespeare in Love. I will take my hate out on it mainly because it won the Best Picture Oscar over Saving Private Ryan. Kind of a smart film, very kind of aware of what it was doing. I mean, I did like some elements of the film. The whole like Shakespeare writing Romeo and Juliet, fictional characters working in, some of the things from his other plays. Like, some of that was kind of cool. But there's no way in hell that movie was better than Saving Private Ryan. And having Spielberg winning the Best Director that year, not that that's always a gimme, but I think that was an appropriate moment to honor a movie or to award a film that deserved it. And I mean, and Shakespeare in Love is a movie that I will never watch again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, a movie like, I went and saw after people told me that was so great, that it's going to get nominated. Every review was so great about it. And I don't know that it's a movie that is as widely acclaimed as some of the ones that we've mentioned earlier, but a movie that was very controversial when I remember watching the Oscars then, and when I was still in high school, and just like I knew nothing about movies, but I knew that I loved Saving Private Ryan. This movie was nowhere near as good.
Yeah,
as
when
to
you
me.
hear a movie like that wins, you would think it was a bad year. But like if you would think in a bad year, a Saving Private Ryan would win over a Shakespeare in Love. Like, it's hard to imagine what the logic behind that was. Is it just the Academy's grudge against Spielberg, or is it that everyone wanted? Is it like the peak of Gwyneth Paltrow's kind of moment, or
maybe a nice mix of all those things? I don't know, but I mean, like the other films, like what was it? Life is Life is Beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Thin Red Line, and I forget what the fifth film that year. I don't know if that's considered a weak year. Maybe is it? I don't know. Would you call that a weak year, John? Elizabeth was the fifth film.
I remember that year
5 films,
kind of being like, like I remember not really having a dog in that hunt. You know what I mean? Like to me, that was just, is it a dog in that fight or a dog in that hunt? That dog don't hunt. I've got a dog in that fight. Those are the two phrases. All right. Yeah, that dog don't hunt, Steve. And I didn't have a dog in that fight. But that to me makes it seem like as opposed to this last year or other years I can think of where there were several movies being nominated that I was passionate about in some way. I remember that year even kind of liking Shakespeare in Love and thinking it was strange that it was nominated for a bunch.
But that's it.
How many do you guys have, by the way?
I have 3 more.
I have 2 more.
You have 2 more.
Well, I'll say 2 more.
All right. So I've
good answer,
so
Ronald.
I should have 3 more. Let me just see here because
John's gonna have the last one.
I do.
He's always got the list of 3 for John is always a list of 4.
I'll tell you what I did was I ended up with
a multiple of 3.
I came up with a list of movies, and what I then did was I went and looked at how much they grossed versus their budget, and then I went and looked at the Metacritic score, and so I went down my list. So it was easy for me to find there were certain movies you could kind of lump in together. Very similar in terms of Metacritic score. Both very successful films. I'll just go ahead and mention in the same breath because, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sell myself out. I'm going to make a choice. I don't want Steve to think less of me. This is a movie that I enjoyed when I saw it and kind of would have forgotten most of it if it weren't for the fact that so many people just continue to talk about it and rave about it and rave about it. And it just... Someone even gave it to me on Blu-ray as a gift, and I have not put it back on. It's like I think visually it's an achievement, but it's one of those rare movies that is like really well made in so many ways, but it's almost totally absent in the character department. And so therefore I do not have an emotional connection that really means anything to Inception. I just feel like it's
wow.
I think it's a feast for the eyes, but it to me the notion of ending the movie on the note of was it a dream or wasn't it a dream was just so. I mean, I had that conversation about whether did you see the top stop spinning or I think it was kind of fun there was a lot of buzz around it. I think that it's amazing. I was shocked to see that it made upwards of 800 million worldwide box office. So that's pretty impressive.
What was it rated? Was it rated PG-13?
I think it was PG-13.
Yeah.
But as Joseph Gordon-Levitt's got that great zero gravity fight scene
Hell
in
yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I have come in recent years to really appreciate him. I just felt like he was kind of a non-character, and there were things about it that were great. The less said about Ellen Page for me is always the better. But it's like it's a movie that I think that had excellence all over it, but at its core was sort of a non-starter for me, sort of a non-story. I will admit I have a problem with stories where the twist reveals that it was all in someone's head or could have all been in someone's head, or we find out that what we were actually watching was someone's mindscape. I always feel a little bit ripped off in those moments. So that movie did a really good job of walking that line. And I thought the ingenuity of like the dream within a dream structure and the way all that worked, I thought it was really clever. But in the end, it was just like a puzzle box that to me meant almost nothing. So
Gotcha.
So Inception.
Mine is a turd of a movie.
But everyone else loves it?
Universally accepted as Will Smith's breakout movie. I think this movie is a turd. Independence Day.
I thought you were going to say 6 Degrees of Separation.
No.
That was his first big movie.
Yeah.
I thought I was like thinking Bad Boys.
No, Independence Day.
You're right.
That was the first big box
That
office.
was Blockbuster.
That was big numbers.
Yeah.
Shitty movie though. I'm not a big fan of alien invasion. Oh, let's blow up the White House stuff.
That was the first one too. Like that's now a cliche, but that was the first one where it was just like, let's just have a montage of national monuments blown
White
up.
House Down.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same?
I think they actually pulled the clip from
think
the
there's-
DVD of Independence Day
Right,
for the
they just
movie of White
blow it
House
up.
Down.
There's some like secret thing about White House Down there. There's going to be aliens in it. It's going to be like the sequel to Independence
God.
Day, and no one knows it.
That would be so crazy.
That would be
That would be so.
because he just came out and said that the sequels are going to be like a 2-part thing.
Really?
Did you hear that? Roland Emick said that.
I'll watch.
That would be hilarious if part 1 of the sequels was White House Down.
No, I'm with you on Independence Day though. I remember when I went to see it in the theater,
Turd.
everyone was so jazzed about it. And I just thought it just seemed it was one of those cases where there was clearly a lot of money being thrown at this idea, which was just
Didn't Will Smith
kind of a dumb
punch an
film.
alien?
He did, and they also uploaded a computer virus into the alien mothership, I think, to defeat them at the end.
Never
Okay.
fails.
Yeah.
Right.
Never fails.
What?
No, that's a great choice because
God.
a lot of people do.
a good pick.
A lot of people do
pick.
point to that as like a pinnacle of like
Oh yeah.
action excellence. And also recently, when the news started happening about the not the remake, but the sequels, I was sort of like, oh, I thought we had dodged that bullet, but I guess there's it's been long enough. People are
Will Smith seems like he
nostalgic.
would be in a movie like that. He doesn't seem like he takes too many chances anymore, like acting wise. He's like, play it safe. I want to be the star. Did you hear that's why Django?
why he passed on Django
What
because he
the
thought Christoph Waltz was the lead.
Yeah. What the fuck, man?
Which to me shows like a weird misreading of the story because there's no question that Django's the strongest character
Right.
in that.
Especially with a person like Will Smith, like he probably would have been a little more like, I don't know. I feel like
I think it comes down for Will Smith. It came down to literally who gets to kill a certain character.
yeah. He
That's
said
what he
that.
said
in his
in the
mind,
He said that
yeah,
at the end, like he would rather have killed the.
yeah.
That's weird.
But he gets such a better in the movie. Django gets such a better like
he-
revenge at the end.
he
kinda.
does.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, to me, that sounds like that's how a famous person of Will Smith's stature, he can just do that. He can just say, I can't be in this. That's not the lead.
It sounds like he didn't read the script at all. It
Right.
sounds like he just glanced over.
He counted the
it. He's
lines
like,
or something. It was like this.
Oh, okay. Nah, I don't talk enough, and I don't.
It's like this
kill
Schultz guy gets all the cool lines.
enough. Fuck that guy.
Can I play the German dentist?
He just passed. Fucking asshole.
But anyway, Independence Day.
Independence Day.
All right, my second to last choice is probably my controversial choice of my litter of this litter of films I've come up with. Pretty much any list I've ever seen of the greatest horror film of all time, and AFI, IMDb,
Other letters.
FBI. I'm sure it's on that list too.
PDQ.
PDQ, PDA, anything like that. It's
PDF.
there. Yeah. It's always the number one list. The number one on the
CSI.
list for the greatest horror movie of all time. And it's The Exorcist.
Ooh.
I know I've mentioned it before on our podcast. I think maybe we were talking about like horror films, like for the Halloween episodes. But just like Texas Chainsaw, I will say that I could probably appreciate how much it frightened an audience at the time that it came out in the 70s or late 70s or early 70s, sorry. And I've watched this movie. I've watched it recently, and it took me a lot to get through it again. But I've seen it in total like 3 times now, and I've never once, like John said earlier, it's never scared me. I don't know if it's because I don't really get scared by the whole like possession, like devil, demonic, like that genre of horror film. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't, react to it like I do some other things. Mm-hmm. But nothing about, like, with the church, with the little girl, even the scenes of, the iconic scenes of Linda Blair in the bed and everything. And some of the shocking dialogue, that she has in the film. I mean, sure, it's like some of that is interesting and you can see why it shocked people.
Yeah. But
I have never responded positively. This movie would not even be on my top 10, 20 horror films of all time. But yet I was promised that it was going to be the best one when I was, again, I watched it for the first time when I was a teen, but bored by it straight up. That's the best way I can say it. I'm bored by this movie. I watched it in the fall with friends of mine, to try to give it another chance around Halloween while I was at Universal Studios for their horror nights, and people were talking about how great The Exorcist was. Like, let's watch it again. It took me like 5 tries to get through it. I just can't. The movie just bores me. Oh, the music is awesome. I will say the theme, the score is creepy. Probably scares me more than the movie it does. But Exorcist, not my cup of tea.
I like the film, but I agree that it's boring. Like, I think part of it feels a little long. I don't know. I don't think I have this anywhere near the same kind of aversion you do to it, but I can agree that, like, there's certain things about it that have, I don't want to say, I hate saying it have not aged well, but I do think that, like, it's one of those that if you have heard that it's the scariest thing you've ever seen, it's hard to picture what exactly in it is going to really
absolutely
send you, like, what's really going to give you nightmares. There's a few moments in it that I think are top notch in terms of the horror, but outside of that, it's like, it is, if you're not into the kind of deliberate pacing and the sort of slow burn of like they fully exhaust this one idea, but like it's like every other possession movie that's come out, it's all become cliches. Yeah. Everything that was scary about this movie when it came out has become a cliche.
Sure. Yeah.
So
could be a victim of that. Probably is.
But it sounds like you've given it a fair shake.
I've tried, man. Like, because I love horror movies, and and these like staples that I know that I'm supposed to love, or that I should, or everybody's saying like, you got to see this. How do you not love this? And those two are always the ones that I always come back to, that I've never found the appreciation or the reaction to, and specifically The Exorcist, because of just it. Every list I look at, every year at Halloween, everybody puts a list out, a new list, and I feel like, that film, and like I feel like The Shining's up there a lot, and a lot of lists, even Texas Chainsaw is up there in the top 2 or 3. But neither one. And The Exorcist is one that I've tried aggressively to watch and give and to maybe gain the respect and the reaction to it, but never succeeded at it. So The Exorcist.
The Exorcist, Ronald.
The Exorcist.
Wah, wah. Let's go, John. One more. No.
Well,
you got 2 more.
I got 2 more.
2 more. Sorry, John.
Yeah, right.
You got really upset there for a second.
Don't take one of those away from me.
He threw that finger up in the air real quick.
No, Steve. No, Steve. Let me explain to you, Steve. I'm really torn here because one of these movies is one of the hugest films of all time, but I feel like it gets enough hate without me giving it hate.
Oh, I think
don't say it because it might be mine.
All right.
I'm gonna roll with. I'm gonna take the chance that it's mine.
I don't want this podcast to crash into an iceberg and sink.
Oh, it's not mine.
Okay. But I will talk about a different movie anyway, because I think it's time that we remember that Juno was not a very good movie.
You didn't like Juno?
I didn't like Juno.
Oh,
I think it's my Ellen Page problem, but I just found that, and it's I don't dislike like the existence of Diablo Cody, but I do think her dialogue can be incredibly cutesy and overwritten. When I think about that movie, the things I liked her folks. I thought J.K. Simmons was great. I I thought even though he's, I know how Ronald feels about Jason Bateman, but I thought he was playing a real character. Like and the fact that his character was kind of revealed to be sort of a douchebag, even though I thought that character, I was more interested in the movie when it seemed like the unlikely friendship between those two characters was going to be the point of the film, and then it turns out. But whatever the case, it just was not working for me. I thought the dialogue was overwritten. I do not think Ellen Page is a particularly convincing actress. No matter what she does, I always sense this weird kind of ironic. She's like the opposite of Anne Hathaway, whereas Anne Hathaway is this theater girl who throws herself into whatever she's doing with the desperation. Ellen Page is too cool for school. She's just sitting there. The way she says her lines is just like, even when she was on SNL, she did this thing where she was practically looking at the camera and kind of going, wow, and I just don't buy it. I don't buy you, Ellen Page, and I don't buy your movie Juno. Well, I could have just as easily said Little Miss Sunshine. That was jockeying for a spot on this list, but
mine is a huge one. It's rated so highly on IMDb.
This is your big one. This is your final one.
This is my. All right, so acting their asses off in this movie, but this movie is a certified fucking turd in my eyes. I'm gonna run down some of the actors.
All right.
And you just fucking, let me see. Jack Nicholson. Right? You ready for this?
He's an actor.
Leo DiCaprio.
Oh.
The Departed?
The Departed.
Get out of here.
I fucking don't like The Departed, man. The Departed is...
This is your chance to say, I call it The Defarted.
It is... It's not that good to me. It is never... I watched it the first time, and I felt like people were reacting to it around me, and I was like, should I like this movie? Maybe I should just say I like it. Mm-hmm. I lied to myself for a very long time, man. The Departed and the other one that he did, I don't like as much either. The one that Ben Affleck wrote that you love. Not Argo. I love Argo. The town, yeah. The town and the Departed.
He directed it. Did he write that one as well?
I thought he wrote The Departed. I mean, The Town. He didn't write The Town?
No, I don't think
he
so.
directed it.
Okay, well, he directed it. I just didn't like
I forget who he cast in the lead role, though. I know it was a really good role for like a chiseled, authoritative performer, but I can't remember.
Actually, he did write that too.
He
did. You're right. He wrote and directed.
Right. So
boom.
So we're all right.
So
boom, we're all right.
Can I wear sweatsuits all movie and fuck people up all the movie?
Check.
Check. Can I have a hot girlfriend?
Check.
Yeah, I think
Can I get away with it? Check.
I think I'll do it. Can I live at the end?
Check.
Check. Yep.
Can I walk through Fenway Park? Check.
What did you say that movie should have been renamed Ben Affleck Wins Every Time?
Yes, man. He wins every time. Like it's so The Departed was just.
But we're not. We were just talking about The Town.
Yeah,
now we're back
The Town
on
also overrated. But The Departed is a plethora of great acting. It is a great story. I don't know if it was executed as well as everybody thinks it was. Mm-hmm. And maybe it was because, so here's what it was. Mm-hmm. Here's what it is. I've seen a bunch of really well-written movies and like that tend to be European. Like I like, what's his name?
Mr. Bean?
Brain fart.
Rowan Atkinson?
He did...
Benny Hill.
Not Layer Cake. I love Layer Cake.
Matthew Vaughn?
No. He does one of the flashier ones. He was married to Madonna.
Guy Ritchie.
I love Guy Ritchie movies. I love a lot of the like UK mafia movies. And sometimes I feel like America has lost its way in a lot of ways. Like we used to be the innovators. We used to push culturally things forward. We used to be the creators of original ideas and amazing things.
Luke. Oh, what's it? Oh man, I screwed that up. I was like what's his name? Lee Greenwood.
Lee Greenwood. Yes.
In this,
you did mess that up.
I was about to say Lee Greenwood, and I started to say Luke Skywalker.
You, Luke Skywalker.
I was looking at you and still pissed that you didn't like Star Wars.
But that's what it is. It's that thing where like you,
Nice little
it's that
mashup.
thing where you think like, man, like we used to like dominate good movies, and it doesn't feel like that anymore.
America, fuck yeah.
It feels like one
Coming
of
to
those
save
things.
the motherfucking day. Yeah.
You know, it's true though that like
This feels like
so many of these movies that we see that are legitimately like beautifully crafted
Mm-hmm.
and really exciting are not made. You know, like something like The Raid Redemption.
Yeah,
There's like nothing American about it,
right.
really, you know?
It felt like one of those movies that was amazing for an American movie. Like this is amazing for an American movie because the original was excellent as well. Like the original Infernal Affairs.
Yeah.
That movie was incredible. But like I don't like that. Like I don't know. I like remakes. Some remakes can be okay. Like I'm starting to get to a point where
Wait, do you have that recording, John?
I'm trying to be positive.
We're gonna
about this.
do an A/B, and we're gonna kind of go back and compare it to what he was
if
saying.
it's a good remake, geez. I mean, but this was a good remake.
Steve wasn't arguing that bad remakes are good.
But yeah, you know what I mean.
He was arguing that remakes could be good.
Yes.
are capable of being good. I'm trying to
You've come
adapt that
so
mentality.
you've come so far.
Yeah.
Ronald.
I'm trying to, but this didn't feel like it felt like good for an American movie.
Yeah.
I don't like when movies feel like that. Everybody's like, it was so good. It was so man. I'm like, man, I feel like Layer Cake blew that movie out of the water.
I think that what you had with The Departed was it was kind of the brand name. It was like Martin Scorsese going back to doing
Yeah.
like a crime story. It was Jack Nicholson in a Scorsese film, which was, you know, I mean, I really enjoyed the movie, but it's another one of those that I have a hard time. Like if someone has a low opinion of it, it's like it's a cop story. So it's
Yeah.
like it gets by on the quality of the story and the movie making, or it doesn't. And if obviously for you it didn't clear
what you're
those
calling is a wet
hurdles.
fart, like I'm calling.
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
But-
Well, I thought it was a little odd that it got all of the acclaim that it got,
Yeah.
given that it's one of those cases where with someone like Scorsese, I think wasn't that his first Oscar? Was for directing The Departed?
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, I think that is
the hell?
to me that puts it in the sort of took a movie that was I thought very good and puts it in the overrated category.
Yeah,
because
automatically.
it's not the best movie of his career by far. So
Yeah, so I don't know. That was my Departed.
All right, my final choice. It's
Oh.
not the one that hit the iceberg, but it's the other one. The actual one that replaced that film is the biggest grossing film of all time.
God.
Avatar.
Right.
You know, I don't know what to say about Avatar. That hasn't been said about Ferngully or Pocahontas. But you know, sure, awesome visual effects. I don't know when
if you want to see blue people on dragons fighting army guys in helicopters, you will see no better
yeah, it's absolutely the number
visual
one go-to.
realization of that.
In a class of one, it's that movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I just recall seeing the film in 3D, and it was, you know, I remember like there was this whole hoopla, and it was one of the first films to start this whole practice of like where they would show like 5 minutes of the movie in 3D, like the summer before it came out, or like the season before it came out. And now some movies do that, like Star Trek did it in some other movies, but. You know, because of the event that it was, and I mean, granted, Avatar was that film, like just like Titanic was, where it was absolutely absurd how many the legs on the film. You know, how much staying power it had, repeat viewings it had, domestic, international, everything with this movie just clicked. And you know, part of it was The Machine. You know, this huge film that James Cameron had been working on forever, created all this technology to make whatever. But watching the movie. I didn't relate to anybody, any of the characters in the film. I was bored by it. I fell asleep during it. Even after seeing it multiple times, you know, just again, because even if I don't think it's like a shitty movie, but to be the greatest or the highest grossing film of all time says a lot about a movie, whether or not it's like the best reviewed film of all time. But for a movie to be that high on the list, there has to be some sort of I guess like general consensus from an audience that it was really good, because it's not just that a lot of people went to see it once, is that a lot of people went to see it 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah, and it was huge. I mean, it was like it almost felt like such a cynical move, because it was like James Cameron seemed like what he was doing was saying, well, now I'm going to do the next highest grossing film of all time. And I do see that he's put a lot of his kind of heart and soul into creating that world. But yeah, it was such a, like, from a story standpoint, it was virtually not there. You know, there was
absolutely. And like I said, I like Pocahontas and Ferngully more. So there you go. Take that. What's your last one, John?
My last one is a movie that it was like I felt when I thought of this movie, I was so glad because this is the one that's the painful one to admit for me. This is the movie that when I was like taking film appreciation classes and learning about film history, and I was getting into kind of that kind of film buff phenomenon of trying to rediscover all the old movies, like this was the movie that kind of kept looming large on the horizon. And when I was growing up, people talked about this movie as though from the acting standpoint and from a filmmaking standpoint, it's just impeccable. And this was one of those that was always in the kind of top 5 or so of the best movies of all time. The lead actor in it went through a major physical transformation to play the role, and I think that is something that I find impressive. But despite that, I just can't muster up a lot of enthusiasm for Raging Bull. I've never been able to really sit through Raging Bull without getting bored, without getting tired of these miserable people yelling at each other. I just don't have like a big association with the man Jake LaMotta, like that. It doesn't really mean anything to me. I was never a big sports guy. My dad would watch boxing when I was a kid, but it was never, he didn't have anybody like that he just revered. And it wasn't like something I heard stories about, except for the fact that everyone, this movie. And I do think De Niro's performance is, if you're looking for the evidence of why he's held to such why he's put on such a pedestal as an actor, I think you look at a movie like this and you can definitely see that transformation. He's definitely playing a character. I just found it kind of boring. And it's one of those that I'm sort of embarrassed to say, I don't know for sure that I've ever made it through the whole movie without falling asleep or pausing it and just not coming back to it or whatever. So I feel like it's a skeleton in my closet as a film lover. But yeah, Raging Bull just,
you're not alone in that closet, John.
It's definitely not my favorite Scorsese film, by far. Like when I look at that list, I would put Goodfellas at the top most likely. But it's weird. It's one of those things where we're even appreciating everything about it that made it kind of an achievement. I still just can't get too excited about it as a movie. So that's my
Raging Bull.
And Metacritic score, that was the highest one. My list went from the lowest Metacritic score to the highest. So Raging Bull actually had a 92. I was kind of surprised. The Metacritic scores, they're a lot harsher than the Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Yeah.
So whereas a lot of the Rotten Tomatoes scores for these movies I was talking about tonight would be like in the 80s or 90s, on Metacritic most of them are in like the 70s. So, yeah. But yeah, this is one that I almost feel like it's a given that one day I will watch it again or try to watch it again. The other thing that's notable about this movie was that in doing the kind of research, the gap between what it cost to make and what it made is the narrowest. It was an $18 million budget, and it made just shy of like $23.5 million in the theaters. So it's crazy when you compare that to something like Juno that cost $7 million and made upwards of $230 million.
Wow. Juno made that. Wow, that's
Juno was huge.
Yeah. But think about the stature of Raging Bull. Think about the stature of Raging Bull and the fact that it was such a small. It's funny to me how often that happens. That when you go back, it's like when you find out that like one episode of Big Bang Theory gets like 5 times the viewership of an episode of Mad Men. Yeah. And yet Mad Men is the people that write about television are in love with a show of that quality. And so you would think that that's like America's favorite show, but really it's like Walking Dead regularly doubles the numbers of Mad Men or something like that. So to me, it's like the fact that Raging Bull, has the stature that it does, and it, has such a small gross compared to some of these other movies. I thought that was kind of eye-opening. I think with independent movies or auteur-driven films like a Scorsese film, I think you're probably always going to see a studio that will pay a director like that so many dollars to make a movie because it's a prestige thing to have that director working for you. But I was shocked to see that, Raging Bull had made just a little bit more than its budget. Wow. It doesn't seem like that would have been really a success. I don't know how marketing budgets worked back then, but maybe things were different in 1980. But
so that's our list, right?
That's our list.
It's a good list.
I think it was actually,
it went pretty well.
I think so too.
Some shockers, some not so much. Mm-hmm. Some agreement actually amongst us, which is pretty good. So yeah, if you've seen those films, and agree with us, then you have good taste. And if you don't, and you're a part of the groups that, I don't know. I don't want to say you don't have good taste, but it's just not as good as ours.
They're listening to this podcast, so clearly they're in a bad place and they're completely out of control in their life.
Get a hold of yourself.
Yeah. Don't you have something better to do?
Yeah, but we'll have to do the flip side of this. We'll have to
Yeah.
do the ones that like were supposed to be complete shit and we actually loved it.
Yeah.
Or some way to more eloquently say that. Maybe not using the word shit. I don't know. I'm sure Ronald can come up with something a lot better.
I could.
Spend some time doing that.
But for now, just hold that thought, Ronald.
Yeah, just take it with you when you leave here tonight.
So yeah, a little bit of business. We are actually going to be going dark again next week. I know we've been missing some
We're going
weeks.
off the grid.
We've been missing some weeks lately. We're going to try to get back on that weekly schedule that we maintained from summer pretty much all the way through the end of the year. But I know for a fact that, what day is it? The
26th. We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back on the 26th.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next week, no episode. But after that, we're going to try to have something every week for a little while, which should be easy because the summer movie season is kind of starting to heat up a little bit. So
shit's going to get good.
It's just going to get good. Oblivion is one of the bigger ones coming really soon, right?
have you seen how many times they'll play the trailer for Oblivion right after the trailer for After Earth? It's like they really want you to notice that the two Scientologists have made the same movie.
Yeah, so weird. It's right after. I've always noticed that. Yeah, so hopefully one of them will be decent.
One of them will. It's just a matter of which one.
Yeah, there's no way they both could suck, right?
No, not possible.
No.
Not possible.
Not possible.
No,
Not this
no,
time of
no,
the year.
no.
Not with those big stars.
Not with TC.
As Jack Harper. I think it's Jack Harper.
It should be.
Yeah.
If it's not.
Jack Reacher Harper.
Yeah.
So yeah, episode 67's in the books.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Hit us up, movieschmovie.net, facebook.com/movieschmovie, or at our Twitter's at Schmovie. Right, Ronald?
Something like that.
How did that happen? I think we messed it up.
It's
Or
at Schmovie or at Movie?
at Movie Schmovie. Oh, you can find us.
You
Yeah.
can find us. Just look up Movie.
No one
Schmovie.
uses Twitter anymore anyway, right?
And if you can't find us online, just go outside, get on the street, ask around.
Just yell our names. One of us will probably be close enough to hear because most of the people listening probably live with us.
Yes.
Or something of that sort. So thank you guys so much for listening as always, and you've made our day. Take care.